Cheers, everybody. I've only done one previous video called Trader Joe. If that's corny enough for you, what I'd like to discuss is there's been a million comments coming in from all directions. Everybody's got their own opinion on Nvidia stock. Where is it going in the short term? Where is it going in the long term? What the hell's going on? I'm long and I've lost a shitload of money. It doesn't go up in a straight line. Nothing does. I think an important fact that a lot of people have neglected to remember is that the CEO of this company is the founder. He's an innovator and a freaking genius. Great companies have lost their CEOs, never performed at such stellar performance when they lost their original innovator and visionary. Steve Jobs, for one. Google, Microsoft. The list goes on. Somebody else is now running the ship. This company, and I recall him saying he isn't going anywhere. Jensen Huang is the man, now nicknamed the Godfather of AI. Okay, the thing is, this is probably one of the most volatile stocks to either trade or take a long position in. It has erratic moves. In a minute, I'm going to show you a chart that shows a typical pattern and what happens once the MACD has indicated a bottoming. Now, after tonight's close, it's Tuesday. The stock closed at 103 and change. There is a huge gap if you read candles charts at 95 to 97. And everybody's anticipating it'll go down there. Tonight, though, after earnings reported by AMD, which were good numbers, and that is in the same sector of semiconductors, it boosted Nvidia after hours from 103 to 109, went up 6 points after hours. This could probably be a false incline tomorrow, raising the NASDAQ, but overall the NASDAQ is in a downtrend. And overall in summer months, tech stocks do really shitty, okay? The best times for tech stocks to run are from September, October-ish, all the way into spring, March, April. Come May, as the saying goes, sell in May and go away. It's probably, if you're in a tech investor, the best policy, because they always take a beating in the summer. Reason for that is a lot of the big money goes on vacation to the Hamptons. They take their gains from the year and they enjoy the Hamptons on their yacht or what have you for 3 months until after Labor Day. And if you'll notice, tech stocks historically do well from September, particularly after Labor Day, all the way through until March, April of the following year. Now I'm going to take this camera off the tripod and I'm going to show you the MACD because I'm trying to make a point here. Okay, and in viewing this chart, you can see my cursor. What I'm doing here is I've got the cursor down at the bottom of the MACD, which in May of this year, it bottomed below the zero line. And then, lo and behold, you had a meteoric rise. You can see it on the MACD and you can see it up here on the chart itself. Now the MACD peaked out in June, and again it goes and follows this consistent pattern, and then again we are now below the zero line in bear market territory, a little more than correction territory. What do you think is going to happen now? Go figure. Every time we've gotten below the zero line, we've had a meteoric rise. Okay. We're back live. And now that I've explained to you, I've been studying chart analysis for 30 years. And one thing you can always count on is historical patterns. Granted, over time, this stock's growth rate is going to slow at some point. I, as well as many analysts on CNBC, agree that this company in particular is in the second inning, using a baseball analogy, of a growth rate that's going to remain consistent or very slightly decline over the next 2 to 3 years. By then, companies like AMD and other semiconductor companies will catch up to their technology. But the reason why Nvidia is so far advanced on this technology of AI is because Jensen Huang didn't wake up yesterday morning and decide he was just going to get into it. He started this back in 2004, 10 years before any other company ever dreamed of it. So he's got about 20 laps in a NASCAR race ahead of all the rest of the cars. And this is why I say for the next 24 to 36 months, the growth rate is going to remain pretty much consistent, which is a 72%, 72.9, I believe, year-over-year growth rate. After that period, it may slow. If it slows to 50% or 35 or 40%, that's a lot more than you're ever going to get in a money market, a CD, or a bank account for 0.005 interest rate on your money. A 35% growth rate is what Apple has maintained over the last 20 years. This company is 30 years old. It was incepted in 97 or something like that, late 90s. It was founded by Jensen Huang in 93, I believe. What's funny is that they're just coming into their own right now. They are reaching their epitome of greatness, just beginning to get traction. Before, in the last 20 years, they specialized in video graphics cards for video gamers, high-speed graphics cards. But as time went on, in 2004, our wonderful Mr. Godfather of AI, Jensen Huang, decided he was going to get into AI, and he's been developing it since 2004. This is a monster. It's a game changer. It speeds up technology in medical science. Studies that used to take 3 to 6 months, a year to find results on in the medical field are now done in less than months, sometimes weeks. It's spread across the whole sectors of, you can imagine, all kinds of uses for this that can benefit mankind. Even Warren Buffett said that this is a game-changing, life-changing event. This is not 1999. This is not the dot-com bubble. I had gone all in on a company called Broadvision, BVSN, back in 97 when the dot-com bubble was hot. Lost it all. Why? Because a lot of those companies made no money. These guys are making so much money that they're going to surpass Apple. They're going to surpass Meta. They're going to surpass Microsoft as the top market cap company in the world. Some are saying we're $10 trillion 100 yards down the road. Well, that may or may not be true. But the fact is, if you invested $1,000 10 years ago in this company, you'd now have $237,000. Big question is, will that growth rate continue? Nobody has a crystal ball, but I can assure you that over the next 24 to 36 months, you're going to see great results. This chart signifies that this stock is definitely in bear territory. It's done its correction. It's paid its dues. And the longer the base, which has been basing now for over a month, the longer the base, the bigger the incline when it comes. The last time it went through a basing period, the next time it popped, it went from $45 a share all the way up to $90 a share. It did a little consolidation flatlining again, then went from $85 to $140, as you know, which is now the high. Typically, what's causing this and previous declines are hedge fund managers with the big money shorting the stock, and the sellers, from big boys, stock guys, to retail investors, all are sellers. The sellers are in control, obviously, right now. They may not be tomorrow after what AMD did tonight, but that's neither here nor there. When this thing gets through consolidating and hits the bottom, which I think will be in the 95 to 97 region, we'll be coming up to mid-August. Typically, these stocks will run up 1 to 2 weeks prior to earnings report in anticipation of good numbers, especially this company, which everybody is convinced they will. And by the way, the next quarter's report is going to include the sales for the new Blackwell chip, which is going to boost the earnings even more, quite a bit more. You can expect tomorrow, should this stock close above 114, it already went from 103 to 109 after hours, it may get up into the low, or the high 120s, 128 or so. Basically, you don't need to panic. This is a typical pattern. It is a volatile stock, and it's done this same pattern for the past 30 years. Some of you are new to this stock. Probably seems like a roller coaster ride. It's a fun ride, and you'll see at the end of on August 28th when they report earnings, which coincidentally happens to be right about the time all the big shots come back from their Hamptons vacation and start buying. And it'll run from September all the way into spring of next year. So, in closing, I'm going to have a cigarette and a drink. It's not often in life that you have a golden opportunity like this to really capitalize. The stock has already made many people millionaires. It doesn't happen often. It happened with Apple, and now it's happening with this company. And because it's had such a meteoric rise, everybody feels it can't continue and the bubble's going to pop. There's no popping of a company. There's no popping of a bubble of a company that makes trillions of dollars in market cap, especially when they're right on the tail of Microsoft and Apple. As far as market cap goes, I wouldn't be surprised to see them surpass Microsoft and Apple and become the biggest, most profitable company on the planet Earth within the next couple of years. Jensen Huang, there's no stopping this man. He is a visionary who is, well, I guess we could use the word obsessed with doing what he does in the greatest fashion possible. If you're long and you're down right now and have lost thousands, you're going to recoup it. Trust me, by Halloween, you'll be putting on a mask and jumping up and down, running up the street with your kids in their Halloween costume, celebrating with a beer your one hand while your kid runs up to the porch to get some candy from the neighbor. Personally, my birthday, 3 days after Nvidia reports on August 28th, on August 31st, I'll be cracking open a few bottles of Jim Beam Red Stag, because I know what's coming down the pipe here. So if you're new to this, the best thing you can do is not panic, because they cannot get your money until you push the sell button. Then you've given up everything you worked for to give to the rich guys. We don't want to do that. In fact, if we could team up as hundreds of thousands of retail traders, we could actually move the needle, take those shorts right out of their positions. That would be epic. Until next time, Trader Joe here saying good night and good luck.